And yeah, I decided to do a little impromptu Q&A session here. So if you got any questions for me, I will be doing a little noodling on the guitar and answering some questions for you. I'm not quite sure the best way to do this here. Let's see. Let's try that. So I'm going to be the headless guitar player here. Let me turn my speaker up. Alright, so we are just coming off about a day or so with the new Headrush pedal board firmware update. It's got a lot of good features in there, and but I think what I'll do for this video mainly is start going over some of the IRs that come with the new Headrush. And it's basically giving us a, from what I'm seeing here, there's a 60S 4x12 V, maybe that's a vintage 30, and then it has a lot of different microphone types. So we got a 121, which is a Royer. We have a 12. I'm trying to think what a 12 would be. Not quite sure. We got a 414, maybe a C12, like a condenser mic, C12 condenser mic. AKG 414. We got SM57. We have a Neumann 87, which is a U87. And then that's basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically giving us 5 different microphone types for each cab. And then they're going balance, bright, dark, and then room. So just for instance, let's go to balanced here. And I'm assuming that they are taking 2 different microphones and then balancing the levels for those, maybe. Turn up just a little bit. Not quite sure what I'm playing here, but alright, so definitely sounds like 2 different microphones. Here's a bright sound. Sounds nice. Here's a dark, which if you have 2 different microphones, one is typically brighter, one's typically darker. So maybe they have the darker microphone up, up in volume a little bit more than the other one. So, oh yeah, this definitely sounds, I hate to say out of phase, but it just sounds. Alright, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the bright is maybe on the cone and then the dark is toward the outer edge of the speaker. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there. Because it sounds muffled. But just to experiment, let's throw 2 IRs in here. And let's do 1 bright and 1 dark. Okay, it's pretty loud. So we want to turn these down to where they're both. I use mine on a -12. I don't know. I'm not too pleased with all that. Let me see, do something different with the. You probably want to see what I'm doing here, so I'm going to set this up like this, so you can actually see what's going on. All right. Orientation is locked. Yep. That is right. My phone is locked. Hello, this is awkward. Okay. And then we get the nice, the lighting in here is horrible. Let's move this. Right in that light. That's better. All right, we'll work with that. This will work. You can see that I'm playing my FRFR over there. I have a second one over there. So we got a stereo thing going on, but not right now at this moment. It's not stereo right now. Try and level that up. All right, cool. So what I'm gonna do, let's put an amp right here. Let's put one IR over here, and let's put the other IR over here. And then, let's see. So if y'all have any questions, go ahead and chime in. I'm literally just kind of killing time unless there's a... yeah, I know. That's what happens when you do backwards camera something. But yeah, if you have any questions for me, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep going on this IR thing and see what happens. So... Ooh, favorite new feature. Good question. All right. I'm glad you asked, because I don't... These IRs aren't... or at least combining two at one time. They're not really doing it for me. So let's just go with the bright... Warrior 121 bright. Yeah, that sounds good. I do like that they added their own custom IRs. The stock cabs are good, but a lot of the times I felt like an impulse response just had a better tone overall to my ears. So I always, you know, stayed on the side of the IR versus the stock cab. So I do like the IRs. But I have been a Line 6 DL4 fan since like the early 2000s, and I played at church for years, and I always used the auto volume echo sound for all my ambient swell delay kind of stuff. And you know, so I always had some kind of Line 6 pedal in my arsenal, whether it be the M series pedals like the M5, the M9, and the M13, because it gave me that auto volume echo sound. It gave me the octo verb, which is basically what the shimmer is doing in the Headrush here. And I'm trying to keep this chat open at all times, but it's not doing it. Oh yeah, song list mode. All right, we'll go over that too. But so the octoverb and the auto volume echo were two staples of my sound when playing in like a worship band setting. And now that the Headrush has added those sounds, I mean, I'm really thinking about just selling my Line 6 HX effects. I mean, it's great. It has tons of options. The only reason why I would keep it is just to use it for video purposes, you know, for examples of different overdrives or delays or reverbs or whatever else. I would love to have the Headrush have a little bit more dirt options, especially in the fuzz department. Have a fuzz that's a little bit more mid-rangey than like a Big Muff Pie kind of sound. But yeah, the shimmer and the auto swell, you know, it was pretty much a must-have for me. So I'm pretty happy that Headrush has included those features. And then the smart harmony is really good. I gotta plug in my phone here. Because you can actually use the smart harmony for, you know, your octave up sounds or adding in like a fifth or a third to like a melody or something. Really, just really cool. Really cool stuff. So, all right, let's go over, if I can. I'm trying to position this here. Problem is with my lighting overhead, it's just kind of awkward. I guess I could turn off the lights and then use my my photography lighting, but all right. This is gonna, oh yeah, this is good. This will work. All right, so let's go over song list mode. So if we go to all rigs here, okay, we have all the rigs that we've, you know, that we have. So I'm gonna make a new set list, and we can see that in our set list we have an option to create different songs. Okay, so under song number 1, and I just learned this, you can simply tap on the thing and just it goes in. Like you don't have to drag and drop or anything. You just simply tap it and it automatically goes in. So song number 1, my verse is gonna sound like Sweet Home Alabama. My chorus is gonna sound like a Eddie Van Halen Modern Plexi sound, and then my bridge is gonna go full on brutality, and it's gonna be like an Inner Sandman kind of sound. So all right, whatever, we're good. So we're gonna call this Skinnered Metal. Sure, why not? Okay. So now if I simply press and hold this this switch over here, I can see that for now I have stomp, rig, hybrid, and set list. I don't have song mode quite yet in here. Ooh, hold on. All right, so I see what I did. So I saved the song. Now when I press save, I can say save new set list. All right. So my set list is going to be Friday Jam, you know, because I'm going to use the set list for Friday. So here's my set list now, and there's Friday Jam. All right, so I got my Sweet Home Alabama and all that fun stuff. All right, now let's say I'll go back in here. I press the dot, dot, dot. I'm going to press the pencil. And now I'm back in my editing mode. And now I'm going to say, all right, my next song is going to be, I don't know, a John Denver tune. Why not? Okay. So now I'm going to go in here and say, I don't know, I'm just going to pick on some random thing. So I got 4 rigs in the John Denver rig. Okay. Press save. All right. So now that's saved. Let's do another song. If y'all want to name a song for me, you can. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue coming up with weird, off the wall names. Let's do. My next song is called Carpet, because it's I'm singing about my carpet in the studio here. And so I'm going to drag up. I'm going to put some different songs in here. I got 4 rigs in here called Runaway Fast, Swella, Heart, Pawner, and Runaway Fast again. All right, let's not do 2 of the same. Let's make it something different. Okay, so now I got that saved. I press save. All right, so I got, and you can use the arrows right here to open up the songs, and then you can close them again, which is really cool. You can also delete a song, or you can edit a song name, but I'm not going to do that. So within our Friday Jam set list, we actually have 11 rigs. Okay, and I can click through those rigs like that. I'm technically going through my different songs right now. Okay, but where this is really special is now that we've created songs within the set list, we now have a new switch over here actually named song. So when I click on that, I can see. I wish I could tap on the screen and it would like adjust the light, but it's not. So now I have 3 songs within my set list, and I can see that I have these switches right here. Let me get back to a somewhat easy view. So I got a song up and down. So you can see that I can swap between my different songs. Okay, I have my rig. So I can swap between the rigs within the song. Then I have bank, which if I had, let's say I had 8 songs within, or 8 rigs within one song, well, the bank would be swapping between, see right now these 4 switches have my 3 Skinnered metal rigs. So I got Sweet Home, Modern, you can see it right here, Sweet Home Bro, Modern Plexi, and then Sandman. Okay, so the banks is really not going to do anything until I have more than 4 rigs within a song. But I can swap between the rigs using these buttons, or I can just click on one over here, whichever. And then you got song. So now I'm going to switch down to my John Denver. Then I got 4 rigs I can choose from. And then I'm going to go, all right, song is done. Well, let's just say, for instance, you can organize these in a certain way to rig 1 is going to be my intro. Then this is always going to be my verse. This is always going to be my chorus. And this is always going to be my bridge or something. Or intros can also be the same as turnarounds. And a turnaround is typically, after a chorus but before the next verse. So it's just that middle section after a chorus and before a verse. So that's what a turnaround is. So you got turnaround, intro, verse, chorus, and bridge. And you can name those accordingly if you want. So then you go, all right, song is done. The crowd goes wild. I'm going to hit my next song down, which is going to be Runaway Fast. And then click on this button, and there's my intro. Okay, my intro rig, which might be a delay or something. Or it could be like a hard rock song, and you might just want a tube screamer with a wall with a cranked Marshall sound. And then you're going to, your verse, which may have an auto swell that might have a cool ambient kind of sound. And then your chorus, which is maybe like a little bit of drive, a little bit of delay, just kind of like a rocking kind of chorus. Then we're going to go to our turnaround. Bam. And then we got our second verse. Okay. Now, for instance, if you had your first verse be one kind of rig and your second verse be another rig, well, you may want to, you may want to have like 4 rigs here, and then you might want to bank down and have some additional rigs. So let's go ahead and do that because we can. Okay. Let me go to all rigs, Friday night or Friday jam, ... I'm going to go into carpet right here. Carpet's a dumb name. I'm just going to add like a lot more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So now we got 8 rigs within our carpet song. And you can see that I'm still in, my song mode right here. I just saw a question, I think. What is the new song? Okay. So instead of setting scenes within one rig, no, come back. Put user, live chat. Okay. Within one rig, you're basically grouping rigs within one song, which is in turn grouped to the set list. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you have a 20-song set list, you can literally just go in, create rigs for the different sections of the song, organize those in order. And let's say, you show up to the set and you want to go ... pencil and say like, well, I've swapped these songs around now, so I'm going to change new, see if this works. Yeah, you can just drag and drop. You can rearrange the order of the songs just like that. Okay, really cool stuff. So maybe the singer has an ego. It's like, oh, I really want to sing this song first because this is going to make me look good. It's like, well, whatever. I'm just a guitar player, so you can do whatever you want. Singers don't have egos, do they? Really? I don't know. Not really. You should be in a band with like really cool people that you want to hang out with. That's really the point. Let's put carpet last because that's like our big finale. All right. Anyway, we're going back. I'm going to save. All right, cool. Friday Night Jam. So now you can still see the full rig on the screen, even though you're switching to whatever. Okay. Now, in this mode, I mean, you're really not... If you had scenes within the rig, this is really not set up to have like, 2 rigs up here, then maybe like 2 scenes within that rig down here. It's really not set up for that. You either get, you're switching songs, you're switching rigs, or you're switching banks. So since I am in, let's see what song I'm in here. See, this is just showing all the different stuff. If I do this song, all right, there we go. So I'm in set list view, and I can see all my songs. So I can see that carpet has 8 rigs in it. So I'm going to cycle down right here. It's going down to my carpet song. So I have my 4 rigs here, and then using the bank to go to my next 4 rigs. All right, then you can bank back up right here. And what's cool is you're still going to stay on the same sound until you hit another switch. So for instance, if I'm going to play... Oh, that sounds horrible. Then I'm back down. I'm still on that sound. right, till I hit another one. Right, I can bank back up. And because that had a cool spillover thing, so right, I swapped to another rig, but the spillover from the previous rig kept going. So that's pretty stinking cool. Which it did that before the update, but now that you have delay tails and reverb tails, and you can use those between scenes, everything's spilling over at that point. So I can swap between my different rigs over here if I want to, which is fine. Or I can use my bank up and down. Okay. And if you had these named accordingly, then it'd be a lot easier to tell what is what. But like I said before, maybe you have a song that has like a initial intro, then you want maybe your turnaround on this rig, and then you might have like a verse 1 and a verse 2, which might be cool. Or you might have, a verse 1 chorus, then you bank down, then you have second verse. Maybe your second chorus is a little different. Maybe you got a bridge, and then maybe you got a solo section. So you literally have like, you don't have to use scenes anymore because each rig is giving its own section of the song. And you can just swap that way. So, it's pretty cool. I like that. So, for instance, let's go in. I'm doing this in real time, folks, because why not? All right, I'm in all rigs. And I'm going to say, I want to create a new. Well, I'm not going to do that yet. Discard changes. I'm going to go here. All right. New rig. Let's say, for instance, that my intro rig is like a bassman with a little bit of delay. Let's use the new air delay, because why not? And we're going to call this, save new rig, we're going to call this free intro. All right. So now let's go in. Let's keep this as our static, let's keep this as our static rig. And now we're going to go in and add a reverb. And there's no need to play for any of this. I'm just, just adding in stuff just for examples. Let's add in a JRC default. Let's save, and then we're going to save new rig, and this is going to be our free verse 1. All right, so now I got two rigs. I got an intro rig and a verse 1 rig. Let's keep going with this. Let's turn that one off. Let's turn the reverb. Let's turn the delay off. Keep the reverb on. And I probably need to go to my mix and turn that down. And then, all right, so now let's say we're going to go full bore with this and go black op distortion, a fat drive, turn the distortion down, cut goes up to around 70, volume is good. All right, save new rig, free CH for chorus, or we can say chorus 1, whatever you want. Okay, and let's do one more. Let's throw in a little auto volume echo. That's in the dynamic section. It's not auto volume echo, it's auto swell. Sorry. Attack all the way up, slow mode, trigger around 80. And let's turn the green JRC back on. And let's throw in some shimmer. I like the soundscape preset. That sounds pretty good. And let's turn that mix down to around 20. You notice how I'm doing all this without even listening to it? Because I'm so used to having the same settings for my effects blocks that I really don't need to listen to it all that much. Yeah, no lag between switching rigs. It's pretty great, actually. All right, so save new rig. This is going to be my free BR for bridge. All right, so now I got 4 rigs. Here we go. Let's go here. Let's go new. We're going to say the song is what, folks? What do I say? It's free. The song is free. Okay. My rigs are more likely going to be at the very, very bottom. And there they all are right there. So free intro, free verse 1, free chorus 1, free bridge. So intro. Okay, can I not just tap? Oh, hello. There it is. I got a little confused there. Verse 1, chorus, bridge. And we're saving as a new set list. And we're going to call this our worship set. Okay. So, like, for instance, I'm actually playing drums at church this Sunday, but, you know, I can play guitar or acoustic or something. So I can go ahead, get my tones already set for the service, and have everything already set up the way I need it. And it takes a little bit of work up front, but, you know, you save yourself a lot of time by not, you know, not having to try and do it, like, in the moment. You just do it before you get there, and you're good to go. So, all right. I've already saved this. All right, so now let's go out, and let's go to our worship set. Okay. I only have 1 song in here, but we're still going to go to song. There's my free song. And you can see that I have free intro, free verse 1, free chorus, and then free bridge. Okay. There's no banks to do. There's no other rigs. Well, I'm switching between rigs this way, which is fine. You can do it that way. Or you can just be like intro, verse, chorus, bridge. And then if I had more songs, I could go between songs, but I'm not. So let's actually see, let's hear what I created here. All right, there's my intro, and then here's my verse. Let's turn it down. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Chorus. All right, so the eyeball. Okay, it's not what I thought it was. Sorry about that. Not sure what the eyeball does. Let's do classic. Okay. So there's classic mode, which is showing you that, but advanced mode is showing you the different songs in order there. Okay, so that's cool. So you can scroll through and see all that. I didn't know it could do that yet. That's kind of neat. Okay. I would still like to see the rigs up here, though. All right, that's how you do it. Cool. Is there a way to go back? Song view. All right, sweet. Check this out. I figured it out. I'm learning as we go here. Thanks, guys, for hanging in there with me. Really just learning as we go. So we got classic view, which is showing just the song and the number of rigs in the song. We got advanced, which is showing the song and all the rigs within the song. So you can see which ones you're switching to. Then if we go arrow back, we can now see the actual rig itself. So let's say my intro, I'm going to make sure I have this, I have my output set. All right, that's cool. Global settings, everything's set to rig, which is great. Okay, that's good. Let's turn the mix down on that delay. On my Tube Screamer, I typically like to have the drive down and the volume all the way up. That's just making sure it's pushing the front end of the amp. And let's turn the decay or the mix of the reverb down so you can actually hear the tone. Not bad. All right, we're saving. Mix of that delay down. On this one, I actually want sync to be on, tails to be on, obviously. All right, so still, even though you created your set list beforehand, you can still go in and tweak things as you wish. Let's go to our course. And then let's make sure our volume is good. So this is how I go in and I tweak each rig to make sure they're the same volume. And if I wanted this amp to be a little more ramped up on that chorus, I can do that. I can turn the presence down. I can change the EQ on the amp a little bit more. Because each rig is its own, you can think of it as like its own scene almost. Because it is a scene, it's just, you're creating its own rig. So, all right, that's cool. And then free is going to be my ambient stuff. That's interesting. That is interesting. Tails on. Mix up. Alright, I don't like that preset. Changed my mind. That is interesting. Let's do Ghost. Alright, I like that a little bit better. Still turn the mix down a little bit. And let's have the reverb all the way up. Let's really drench it. So you can see I'm doing all this in somewhat real time here. Yep. All right, cool. I'm set with all that. So I got my intro. What was I playing? Let's say, for instance, I just want a good cranked amp sound on this. Let's just crank the amp all the way. All the way, folks. Crank up the mids. Turn the bass down. Verse. I'm making up a song as we go. Yeah, there's no reverse delay in the Headrush as of right now. Hopefully they'll figure that out soon and throw it in there. Hey, I'm playing a song right now, folks. Here's the chorus. What am I doing? Is that... Back to intro. And then let's go to a bridge. And back to our intro. And chorus. And that's the song. Okay? So you can see how pretty easy it is to, you know, make up some rigs, throw them in a set list, or I guess throw them in a song, and then name the overall set list for what the batch of songs are going to be played for. And yeah, just scroll between the banks, scroll between the rigs. You can go from song to song. You can click on this little thing there. Maybe. How do we get back? Oh, that's what it was. I remember now. So to get back to your overall song list, you have to do ... song view, and there's your song. And there's your classic view, and there's your advanced. You can hit the eyeball. I guess it just changes. Yeah, it just changes the overall look. So if you don't like the paper and the tape, I guess it pretty much looks like if you were to write out a set list and then tape it to the floor by your pedal board or something. That's what it would look like, because you got like a little floor right here. I see what they did now. At first it looks a little corny to me. It was like, well, I kind of get why they did that, because that's what we normally do, right? When we create a set list right before the show with your bandmates, and we're like, oh, we should play this song and that song. No, let's put it in this order and whatever else. So yeah, you tape it to the floor. But if you just like a different look, you can do it that way as well, which is cool. And I'll probably still do a official video on how to do all this stuff, but it's just kind of, I mean, this is my teaching style. I'm very much, teach in the moment. And it's kind of like a progression of learning to where I'm learning new things as I'm showing you guys. So it's, but it just comes to show you that the Headrush, you really don't need a manual for this thing. I mean, it literally just took me a few taps here and there to figure out. I was like, all right, the eyeball does that. It changes the look. You got advanced and classic. You can go back arrow to actually see your rigs. If you need to adjust something or adjust your output, or you want to go in and adjust your input, you can do that. Let's see. Let's adjust my gate threshold, gate release, noise filter, and we're going to call this Nate Gate. Hello, Nate Gate. And that's locked. All right, so that gate should be set for all the other. There we go. Now it's locked. Okay, so we got our red padlock right there. All right, so that is the that was a good question. Thanks for taking me down that little rabbit hole there, because I was just gonna jam awkwardly for an hour and whatever. Yeah, thanks Joey for watching. It's fun stuff. Yeah, they really should add a reverse delay. That would be the secret, not the secret ingredient, but that would be the last ingredient in the secret sauce of like ambient pad kind of stuff. So I really hope they add that sometime soon. But how long have I been going here? 47 minutes. All right, any questions before I get off of here? I'm probably going to go to bed and wake up early, probably around 5 o'clock, and work on, I got some website stuff I'm working on, and I got to figure out the videos I'm going to release next week. All right, so this is a new thing as well. In the past, I have just released videos kind of willy-nilly. That's a weird term, willy-nilly. But, just kind of randomly, because I think I asked a question one time in the group on Facebook. Because I was like, basically, hey, do you guys want me to release on a certain day? And half the folks were like, yeah, just release whatever you want, or release them all at one time, like a Netflix season kind of thing. But I really think just for me to be more consistent, I'm going to definitely have a schedule. So I'm going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My Monday video is going to be a Doc Talk series, DOCTALK, Doc Talk, which is kind of hard to say, but it's basically going to be me either talking about a certain subject or, playing an instrument, demonstrating a certain topic. Or I'm also going to be collaborating with some local musicians and also fellow YouTubers, doing like an interview style kind of video. So if you have any suggestions for me on who you think I should interview and who you would think it'd be fun to pick their brain a little bit. What up, Alvaro? You the man. Monterrey, Mexico. We're going worldwide here, folks. But yeah, I could interview Alvaro. Why not? It'd be fun. Really, nobody is too big or too small. I really don't care about status of musicians. Like, well, he's toured the world and he has multi-million album sales, and I was like, I don't care about that. If you're a cool guy and you want to talk about gear and guitar playing, then yeah, I'll talk with you. You know, it's as easy as that. Or if you're a nobody like me, uh, you know, I'm really nobody to anybody. So, but I do like teaching, and I do like the Headrush. So this is a fun little unit. But you know, if you're just a cool guy that wants to talk about guitar stuff and maybe your struggles of learning to play or your struggles of finding the tone in your head, then that might be a fun conversation for me to kind of walk you through, you know, okay, what your goals are and maybe how to achieve that sound that you're hearing in your head. So, it's all up in the air right now. We're just gonna take it 1 week at a time. Hopefully, I can schedule enough interviews for like a full month. I can record those all in 1 week, and then I can take the time to get those edited and uploaded and scheduled, so that way they release like clockwork every single Monday at a certain time. And yeah, I already have a few people in mind that I want to talk to. There's the China Guitar Skeptic. I just found out about him at GitCon 2018. GitCon 2018. He looks like a really cool guy to talk to. So I've emailed him, and we're gonna hook up soon. I think on Google Chat, some kind of Google thing. I'm not sure. I've never recorded a live chat before, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But yeah, China Guitar Skeptic. I would love to interview Pete Thorne. I actually went to a guitar clinic of his here in Nashville maybe 5 years ago. 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. His PT100 amplifier just came out, and he was in Nashville kind of going through the features and running it through his paces. So thanks for all the videos. I'll follow your channel closely and keep up the good work, my friend. Yeah, man. If you ever have any questions, guys, just leave a comment on any of my videos or send me a direct message via Facebook or Instagram. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I'm usually either playing guitar or playing with my kids or cooking pancakes. Or occasionally I'll, you know, watch a movie with my wife, or we'll, you know, work on the garden outside or something. But typically, I got a guitar in my hand, so I'm either always playing or I'm watching other YouTube videos, because that's pretty much what we do here at the McFarland house, is either watch Netflix for the kids or I'm watching YouTube. We've pretty much canceled our cable, our satellite bill, so we just have internet now. We've actually upgraded the internet service, so it's way faster. I can upload a 10-minute video in literally like 5 minutes, which before it would take like an hour. So it's amazing. And now I just need to upgrade my computer and get that working pretty fast, so I can actually render videos in a quicker time. Because if I'm going to crank out 3 videos a week, which I've done in the past, and I do pretty much, but, you know, I have to, like today, I wasted 2 hours this morning because my computer kept giving me that spinning ball of death. Every time I, like, literally just moved a mouse or clicked on something, it would just, like, start thinking again. It's like, what is all this thinking for? You should just work. So I had to do a turnaround, a workaround with that, and I finally figured it out. But today was Friday, and I got a video out today, so I was happy with that. So now I got to think about what I'm going to do next week. So let me check here for any more questions. Yeah, go ahead, Alvaro. Just if I'm talking too much, just shut me up and be like, hey, I wish these chats would stay on the screen like all the time, but they're not. Yeah, Jay. Thanks for watching. Ah, cool. Yeah, Feedback Revival was the band I was in for many years. And we kind of fizzled out. The singer kind of went a different direction musically, which is great. It's fine. I basically had my soiree with the 5-week tour in Europe, and through different circumstances that, you know, kind of ended that iteration of the band, and it just went the same after that. So we tried making it work, but we're just, the music lives on the internet. So but yeah, Feedback Revival was great. Some good music out there. All right, is there a way to have separate? I wish these questions would stay on. Is there a way to have separate control of the two outputs? Yeah. I want to control my FRFR, master knob, but I want to send a different level. All right, so with the master knob, but I want to send a different level to the PA. All right, so there's a few different ways you can do this. If you want to take, if you go to global settings, you'll see your alternate output right here. All right, so we got source, we got XLR out, we have amp line out, and we have headphones out. Let me move this over a little bit, right? Trying to get that glare out. Yeah, the phone output is great. I just I saw a comment from somebody the other day saying, yeah, I can use the headphone output, you know, have two different volumes, which I never really thought of. It's like, yeah, you can totally use the FRFR for the headphones, and then use the XLR as your, you know, use this big knob right here, you know, the big knob over here, as your output. You can totally do that. It's a very viable way of doing it. But what I was going to show is basically going to this page 2. You do have an XLR out with an EQ, and you also have a level input right there, so you can change the level that way if you really wanted to. But that's basically if you're using an XLR and a 1/4 inch at the same time, you can adjust the levels of those two different outputs. But I really think using the phone's output is a really good option, especially if you're using an FRFR speaker. Just tap out of the headphone jack into the FR, and then you can run the XLR, which is a grounded signal, straight to the board, and you got full control with the big knob and the phones. You got full control over everything. So I think it's a good option. I'm going to go with that one. Why not? Okay, so you're wanting to use this as an in-ear headphone monitor. All right, so what I've done in the past, and it didn't quite work the way I wanted it to, was I was taking a MyMix signal, which is like a little box that we use to mix other band members on the stage, other players on the stage. And basically, I was taking the 1/8 inch jack out of the MyMix into the auxiliary jack on the back of the Headrush, and then I was going XLR out to the house. But what happens at that point is whatever you have on the auxiliary, on the auxiliary input right there, that signal is also being sent out of the XLR output. So I'm basically sending my guitar signal and a full band mix to the house, which is not what I wanted, but I didn't realize what I was doing at the time. And the sound guy was like, "Hey, I'm getting a lot more signal than just your guitar." I was like, "Oh, I see what I'm doing." So I was not doing that correctly. So basically what I do is, you don't necessarily need to use the Headrush as your personal headphone monitor. I would do that separate. I would have like a separate box of some sort to where you can basically like a MyMix or an AVIOM system, AXIOM system, AVIOM. I think it's AVIOM. There's other like Behringer style headphone mixes that you can tweak the full band mix. I think it's gonna be better for your situation to have a separate system running just the in-ears and then have your Headrush be, just the guitar, just the guitar signal that you're running straight to the house. Because you got your 1/4 inch out, you got your XLR out, and so that way you got separate volumes or separate leads going to different places. Then you got the main, you got the speaker. But yeah, as far as your in-ears go, I think I would just try and keep it separate if I were you, but yeah, I cannot use it as an in-ear headphone monitor. Yeah. Yeah, I've tried that. I just wouldn't do it. Because there's really no way to separate the auxiliary input from the XLR output. Because once you pipe in that signal, whether it be from a phone or a mixing board or some other external device, well, I mean, you don't have a knob, but like I said, in the global settings, you have an XLR out level and you have an amp line out level. So that's how you would adjust the levels right there. So if you wanted, your XLR to be a little less hot going to the board, you can turn that down. If you want your level going to the FRFR out of the line out of the 1/4 inch, you could raise that up as high as you want. No, you don't have to change anything. I mean, typically you want to have the button on the back. You want to be on line level versus amp level, because you're basically sending a line level to a speaker. So, and it's going to be a lot louder as well, so you don't have to have your master knob on the Headrush up as loud. I know it goes to 11, but, there's a lot of sweep in there. You don't have to... I usually have mine set around 6 or 7, and typically don't have to go any higher than that. But if I'm going to, even if I'm going to the effects return of my QUILTER amp over here, I still have it going out line level just because it gives a good healthy signal. And if I'm going to the front end of the amp, yeah, I'll go ahead and switch it over to the amp output versus the line level output, just so I'm not hitting the front of the amp as hard, and I'm kind of allowing the amp to do most of the work. But it's not going to hurt. It doesn't hurt anything at all, having it line versus amp. You just got to make sure that your sound guy knows that you're sending him a line level, so that way he can adjust accordingly with the gain structure of his mixing board there. Sometimes I want to crank up my FRFR at the same time I am cranking up the volume for the house. Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, you even have a volume control on the back of the speaker. So, I mean, it's a little less convenient having to crouch over and reach for the knob to turn it up and down, but you know, that's definitely one way of doing it. You can use the master knob on the Headrush over here to send to front of house, and then you got your quarter-inch output going to the FRFR, and then you can adjust the volume on the FR itself. So, and there's, like I said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. It's just, how do you want to set it up? You know, just figure out a way and just stick with it. Pretty much. The Coke. Hello, the Coke. Okay. This is kind of fun. I might start doing a Friday night live kind of thing. And I'll have all those in a playlist. I noticed that Rhett Scholl, he's a Atlanta-based guitar player. His channel has pretty much exploded this year. I think he started back in February, and he already has like 22,000 subscribers, which is insane. Because I've been doing this for, I don't know, at least 3 years. The first year was kind of not so serious, and then really the last year and a half, 2 years, I've really been more diligent and intentional in wanting to upload videos. And then when the Headrush came out, I was like, well, this is a great unit and I like using it, so I'm just going to make videos on it, and here I am. But I am grateful to everyone who has subscribed so far. I am creeping up on 1,100 subscribers. Nowhere near where Rhett Scholl is, or maybe some other YouTubers, but you know, it's really not about the numbers. As long as you guys are gaining value from the videos, then the subscribers will continue to grow at the slow and steady pace that it is. Because really, I mean, YouTube is not about massive appeal and massive, you know, like going viral, because viral like comes and goes, but you know, the slow and steady tortoise always wins the race, right? I'm not looking to be a jackrabbit by any means. So yeah, gain staging is so important though. What does Alvaro say? It would be nice to like aux knob to control the other output. Yeah, well, the aux, I mean, this is, the Headrush is pretty much a one button per feature kind of board. Like, it really doesn't do a lot of multiple things. I mean, yeah, you got a tap tempo and you got a tuner in one, right? The looper button pretty much does its own thing. You got the song, you got the lower left button doing the view mode if you hold that down. But, you know, other than that, I mean, you got aux doing its one thing, got phones doing its one thing, master doing one thing, push to enter. It's kind of doing multiple things as far as selecting stuff. And then you got the 3 encoder knobs up here selecting things. So, you know, there's not really a lot of customizable options, but I like that because I came from a Boss ES8, and I know I've posted lots of pictures on my Instagram of like past pedal boards that I've had, and the Boss ES8 was great, but it had so many options that I felt like I was always in like tweaking mode, or always in like programming mode versus just like playing, you know. And with the Headrush, You know, let me go in here with the Headrush here. Like I can literally just click on something, add it. Like there's a little vibrato, bam, I'm done. You know, there's not a lot of tweaking involved, and that's why I love the Headrush versus like a Helix or a Kemper or anything else. The touch screen is so just like tactile. You just take your hand, you know, add whatever you want, and then bam, you got a cool little. Ooh, that sounds wicked. Ooh, I need to create a song with that kind of sound. Anyway, who knows what kind of sounds you're going to come up with. You just, you know, tap, insert an effect, and let it inspire you to play. You know, that's what it's all about. You just got to make music. You know, people love to argue about, is the Headrush better than the Helix, or is the Kemper better than the Axe or whatever else? And yeah, 1 a.m. You're probably Eastern time, I'm guessing. Thanks for watching, father of 3 kids. I'm sure you've told me your name before, but I'm bad with names. So, Virginia, yeah. But whatever device you choose, AXIOM, Kemper, Headrush, Helix, doesn't matter. Just learn it, use it, make music, and that should be the only thing that matters. So, well, I know you guys know that. It's just you got to reiterate these points sometimes to folks who want to continuously argue about this feature versus that feature and whatever else. So it's like, I don't care. Whatever. Mark. Yes, Mark. See, I never used a Moore. I have a Moore tuner. I've owned a Moore compressor and a Moore tremolo, I think. You know, the little tiny itty bitty little pedals. But I hadn't messed with the new Moore stuff. I know they have a new preamp out because they had individual preamp pedals. But now they have one big pedal that has like 4 different preamp types in one unit or one little box. And that's pretty cool. You know, if you have a setup that needs a preamp, you know, go with that. But that's why I like the Headrush or even the GIGBOARD over here. Let me swap over preamp live. That's right. So here's the GIGBOARD over here. And you can see it sits on a little desk. You know, this is my studio. I got a little Apollo Twin, a little MIDI keyboard, a small 13-inch MacBook Pro. Yeah. But literally the GIGBOARD has everything. It has your amps. So you don't need a preamp because it already has an amp. It has your cab and IR. And then it has all your effects in it. So it's small, compact. I mean, you really don't need to have all these individual pieces to try and get a setup when you can just have an all-in-one unit like a Headrush or whatever else. But I mean, I understand, you know, we got tons of companies out there that are producing all these different units and effects boxes and whatever else, but you know, if you got one thing that does everything well and it's all in one place and you don't have to carry around different pieces of gear, then you know, that's my world right there. My whole goal when walking into a gig or a church service or whatever, I want to walk in with everything at one time. I got my guitar, I got my little cable bag. I got my Headrush or some other pedal board. And there's no like multiple trips going back and forth. I'm just literally walking in, getting on stage, setting up, and I'm done. And with the Headrush, I can literally just walk up on stage and plug in and be ready to play within 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much chatting I'm doing while I'm setting up. But it's very, very fast. Pedal board is heavy. Yeah, I mean that's a relative. That's a subjective statement. But I mean, yeah, it's bigger. You know, do you want to carry it like 20 blocks to a gig while you're walking? Probably not, but you know, it's not horrible. You know, there's a lot, if you look on Instagram or Facebook for any length of time, or like all the pedal board forums or whatever else, some of these guys have humongous pedal boards. They're like, well, I need all that for like to create my sound and my tones. I'm like, yeah, but eventually you're gonna get tired of carrying all that. You know, I'm not a big fan of humongous pedal boards. And the last pedal board build that I actually abandoned, I was getting ready to cable everything up, and it wasn't humongous, but it was on my pedal pad, 26 by 18 pedal board size. And I had the Boss ES8, and I had 4 or 5 different overdrive effects, and I had some delays and reverbs and whatever else. And I was just like, you know what? I just can't do it. I can't wire all this up and then still not be happy with my setup. So I just abandoned all that. Pretty much sold all my pedals except for just like a handful of pedals that really couldn't sell because nobody wanted them. So I guess I'll just keep it. But they're still good to have around if I want to do like a pedal video or like a demo example of some sort. So yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But there's guys out there that love tons of pedals and just like to break their backs and carry those things around. And yeah. The GIGBOARD, I mean, I think for what it does, I mean, it's a good price range. I mean, it's just really it's a few $100s less than the actual Headrush pedal board. So you lose a little functionality as far as the amount of switches, but I think the Headrush GIGBOARD is on par sonically with the tones you can create with it with pretty much any other unit out there. I mean, Line 6, they're charging what, $800 for a stinking power cab. You know, I wouldn't pay that much money for a cab, but the FRFR speaker from Headrush is like $299. So it's like, well, that's right in my price range. It's not going to break the bank, and it does everything I need. So why go spend $800 when you can spend $300 on a speaker? You know, same with the GIGBOARD. It's like, well, if you looked at the Strymon stuff and you looked at, you know, the JHS pedals and the Keeley pedals and the Wampler pedals, and, you know, each overdrive is going to cost you $200, $300. One of the delays is going to cost you $400 or $500. I mean, you easily can spend $2,000 to $3,000 on a really, really nice pedal board. But, you know, when you look at the price of the GIGBOARD and the Headrush pedal board, and even the Helix, I mean, the Helix is a good unit. I'm not gonna say bad things about the Helix just because I don't like using it. It is a very good piece of kit, as they say over there in across the pond. But yeah, so it's just, I mean, it's all relative. You know, it's all very subjective. It's all relative. You know, yeah, the gig board is what, $5.99, $6.99, but if you were to look at all the pedals that you'd have to buy to recreate everything that the gig board can do, you're gonna spend way more on that. So I think I've gone for like an hour and 20 minutes at this point. So I used to have one in the used pedal board, probably 20 pedals that weighed a ton. Yeah. Come on, chat. Why don't you just stay on the screen here? Can you transfer your rigs? Yeah, you can transfer the rigs. You do if you had like 8 scenes on your switches here. You know, obviously that's not going to translate over to the gig board because you only have 4 switches. So, but you don't. I mean, you don't technically lose the functionality. You just lose the ability to access the same number of scenes or effects per switch. But they're going to come out with a new firmware update for the gig board. So that way it's on par as far as like the shimmer and auto swell and all the other effects and amplifiers that they've added. Now you can take the IRs that came with the new firmware and directly put those into the gig board. I mean, IR is, it's not going to corrupt the functionality of the board itself, because an IR is an IR. I mean, you can pretty much use it. I use impulse responses when I record. You know, I use like reverb impulse responses and other stuff. So that's not a big deal. It's the actual rigs itself that are kind of structured slightly different between the two units. So, but the tones sound great. I mean, I'm producing a band right now. It's kind of like a hard rock kind of sound, and the tones we're getting is unreal. Sounds so good. Way easier than having a real amp and having to place the microphone on the speaker and whatever else. It's just I'm gonna turn this thing around, scare some people. Whoa, hello. There I am. Yeah, I need to go to bed so I can wake up again and do this all over again. More videos, more guitar playing, and all that fun stuff. So I don't know where I need to look at. I'm looking over here. Hello. I'm looking at the correct part of the camera here. So I am Dr. McFarland. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. Let me see. My idea is to have the pedal board in my home studio, create sounds, practice, and record. Gosh, why won't these just stay on the screen? But then transfer the rigs to gig board and use it on gigs. Yep, you can totally do that. Like I said, you're just gonna lose a little bit of functionality between how they translate from 8 switches to 4 switches. But other than that, you're gonna have the exact same tones, exact same everything. So yeah, use the big board in the studio, the small board for maybe gigs and rehearsals, and or vice versa, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. I am Dr. McFarland. This has been the Reverend Warhawk RT. Great little guitar, man. This is a solid instrument right here. But and I will see you in the next live video. Keep rocking.